I posted on Twitter to see if anybody had the cojones to get feedback from me on their speaking skills. And not only that, be cool with me posting it in the public domain on Twitter. And to start with, nobody commented. And I was like, nobody got the courage to do that. And then a few people commented. And the first one I've chosen to give feedback on is Matt Lucero. Now, I happen to know Matt from being in Client Ascension, and the results he gets for his clients are phenomenal. His knowledge is fantastic. I've had a chunk of this video that I've gone through, and there's a mismatch between that and then how he comes across, in my opinion. And I know you'll be watching this, Matt, and I appreciate you having the courage to do this, because this will potentially help other people who are putting video content out there right now and in the future. So for starters, I actually like this setup with regard to the video being a third and then content being 2/3. It's much better than the tiny Loom circle. I mean, this is the bigger Loom circle. It's really important that you and I have that, not you, Matt, but just anyone using Loom, because you can then see my eyes, you can see my facial expressions. I've also got more space to do some gestures. But this setup, there's more videos showing up like this, is great because I really get to see your face and I get to see the content as well. So that's good. A technical bit of feedback is when you look at this space here, this for me is dead space. And the reason I say that is because if you do have capacity in your setup to move backwards, I mean, I can sort of move back here. What it will do is allow us to see kind of your chest and above. And if you tilt the camera down, it then gives you capacity to use gestures as well. And right now you just are kind of a little bit of chest and a neck and a head. And these things here are fantastic at helping clarify a message, or they can distract as well. Gestures. Cool. Also with regard to the ring light, if we just go. So here with the ring light, sometimes that can be distracting for people. So if you can place the ring light somewhere else, I'm pretty sure it doesn't distract too much in the rest of the video. But let's get stuck in to the speaking skills feedback.
So in today's video, we're going to be covering how to build laser targeted cold email lead lists.
Okay, so a couple of things there is you're not looking at me. And in any video, when you're sharing stuff, for me, it's so important that you look at the person watching. Now, you might be thinking, oh, but that's the camera lens. No, it's not. Not when they press play, it's not. That person can feel like you're talking directly to them, or they might feel a bit of a disconnection. So for me, I've trained myself to look at you. I know it's a camera lens, but I know ultimately I'm looking at you right now. I'm looking at you, Matt. I'm looking at you watching this video. So that's really important. That will create another level of connection. And sometimes people might not know why they're disconnected or not, but I guarantee you start looking down the lens on videos, on calls, on sales calls, when you're talking to someone, they will feel like you're talking to them. Really important from a connection point of view. Okay.
And if you don't know.
And also, let's just go back again and look at what you say.
Right, so in today's video, we're going to be covering how to build laser targeted cold email lead.
So again, we got laser targeted, and you have some tonal emphasis, but if you had capacity to use your gestures, you could use a gesture that supports that. So how to build laser targeted cold email lists just helps with the clarity of the message. Laser targeted, focus. So there's a concept that I'm going to be sharing in this video called honoring the words, which is feeling the right feeling or emotion, expressing the right feeling or emotion, or the right weight or the right pace of the words that you're saying. Honoring the words, single-handedly the most important tool that I've shared with my speaking skills clients for nearly 2 decades. It's the game changer, because you and I are human. We're meant to feel something. If the person watching feels nothing and feels numb, they're going to switch off. They're not going to take any action. They're not going to want to come back. They're going to find you boring. Not just you, Matt. Anyone.
List. And if you don't know who I am, my name is Matt Lucero. I run a B2B lead gen agency that works on a pay-per-show basis over at anivomarketing.com.
Okay, so a lot of the tone was da 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 da. So pay-per-show basis at anevomarketing.com. So there's a lack of conviction here. So there's a level of kind of energy, a bit more passion, a bit more enthusiasm that you can express it, because I've met you face to face. So I know you have that, but it's not coming across as much as I would like to see it and hear from a capturing attention point of view. And so if you have the same tone throughout the whole video, which a lot of times you do, having skipped through a lot of this, it's going to switch people off no matter how good the message is. And that's really important for you personally, Matt, to focus on. Really be aware of the consistent tone that you're using.
And here's an example of the types of lead lists we build. Has first name, last name, title, company, email, the quality.
Okay, so there you can definitely slow down. And here's a type of the list of whatever you say there. First name, last name, title, company, email, so you can just slow down a little bit. Give your viewer the chance to process what you're saying.
Phone number and all that. And in this video, I'm going to show you how to do exactly this, but actually...
Okay, slow down. In this video, I'm going to show you how to do exactly this. You don't need to rush it. Slow down. Remember, you know this stuff inside out. The person watching might not necessarily know. And if they do, they're hearing this from your voice, your expression for the very first time.
Actually, make sure it's laser targeted so you can email.
Again, there, laser targeted.
The prospects that you exactly want to be talking to.
Okay. Prospect. So there's a kind of a tailing off with energy, a tailing off with tone towards some of the end of your sentences. And if you don't have that conviction, if you don't have that level of energy that is keeping you kind of G'd up to a minimum degree, it may come across as a bit boring, or you might come across as bored or boring, but also you're still not looking down the lens of the camera. We're like 30 seconds in and still not looking down there. I want you to look at me. I want to be engaged by you.
So without further ado, let's dive straight into the video. So the first step that you're going to want to do, and it sounds very simple, but a lot of people overlook this, is to identify.
Okay, again there, slow down. Look, this sounds really simple, but a lot of people, they overlook this. So just slow down. Give yourself the opportunity to really share your message in a way where the person can process it, and it also gives you a chance to bring it to life as well.
Your audience. Now, this sounds really simple, but most people just don't even do this. They just start guessing, and they don't try and lay out before they actually scrape the list who they want to target. So
again here, because you're not looking at me, I'm not getting as much conviction. I'm not getting how important this is as well. And I know all of the stuff you're sharing in this video is important, but sock it to me. Look down the lens.
If you don't have your audience properly identified, you're going to scrape a list that will ultimately be irrelevant and will result in terrible campaign performance.
I can right now, I can see you've literally just read that off, right? So what that's doing is I'm like, okay, he's just reading it straight off the page. So for me, it's like, look down the lens and deliver that, fine. Use it maybe as a reference point, fine. But for me, just reading it straight off there, it felt like you were just reading, it didn't really bring it to life. So here, you've got two different opportunities to honor the words there. You've got irrelevant and terrible, okay? So there, if you're going to scrape a list that will ultimately be irrelevant and result in terrible campaign performance. Now, you don't have to express it as much as me. I'm saying honor the words maybe 2, 3, 4, 5, 10% more than you do now, but irrelevant and terrible, they're two completely different feelings, two completely different expressions. So I just want you to consider expressing them and honor them in the right way, just a little bit more than you do now. You have tonal emphasis on terrible, but you're not actually honoring it. Okay.
So many people, so many people mess this up.
Okay, so you got so many people, so many people mess this up, and the kind of energy went down. You started to express it. It's in there with you. What I would love is so many people mess this up. Take your time. I want to know how important this is. And the fact that you've said so many people and then you've repeated again, so many people suggests to me that you want to drive the point home. But if you honored it the first time, you're going to make more of an impact in a shorter space of time and go, so many people mess this up. You just need to lay it one time rather than repeat yourself and then drop the energy towards the end of the sentence. My goodness me, we're at 10 minutes already. I don't know where that's gone. Right, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to scoot through and let's see if we can pick up some other bits and pieces before we wrap this video up.
Have more money, 50 to 100. This is the end of like a small business. Technically, a small business is anything under 100 employees, but this is the end of that small business segment.
Again, that one, I need you looking down the lens of the camera for sure. Tone, still very samey.
Data source, and even with some of the other data sources, they plug.
Look down the lens again.
Apollo's out 100%. Apollo is a great place to start.
Okay, so there, you said 100%, there wasn't much conviction, and then you said Apollo is a great place to start. But then if you're looking down the lens, you slow down a bit and go, Apollo is a great place to start. And then if I feel that and I believe that and I can feel it from you, and I'm going, okay, cool. But if you say Apollo is a great place to start and you're not looking down the lens, I'm not seeing, I'm like, is it really? I'm not so sure. It doesn't capture me as much.
Company names and company websites. But if you want to get the actual emails, you still have to plug it into a tool like Apollo. So that's really good. But the main pro.
Again there, that's really good. Nothing. No sound, no change. No, that's really good. It doesn't take much just to start to be aware of it now. Okay, let's have a look at a couple more.
Niche data sources is, let's say, for example, you want to target country clubs, and Apollo doesn't have country clubs.
Okay, so also we're getting the ring light a bit here in your eyeballs where I'm looking.
The cover is niche data sources plus instant data scraper. So the pricing, it depends on whatever niche data source you're using. But essentially what I mean by niche data sources is, let's say, for example, you want to target country clubs, and Apollo doesn't have country clubs and Crunchbase doesn't have country clubs.
Okay, so there again, so Apollo doesn't have country clubs. This other one doesn't have country clubs. So again, give yourself, slowing down for you, mate, is going to be really important. Matt, it really will do. So slow down, be aware of your tonality more, consciously be aware, and honor your words more, and just let that passion and enthusiasm come out. It's not about being over the top. It's just about punching it up a little bit by a few percent. Okay, so let's have a recap. I can't believe this video is this long. Let's have a recap. So for you, definitely slow down. It's going to give you much more opportunity to process what you're saying and the viewer to process what you're saying. Honor your words more. Bring the words to life that have obvious feeling and emotion. Take your time to honor them. Look down the lens. Look at me. Look at your viewer. Really important. Those are the main ones. I love your content. I love your message, but this is going to finesse your speaking skills. It will help in every area where you are the delivery mechanism for the message. Awesome. Comment below. Let me know if you found this video of value. Matt, I'd love to know your thoughts as well. And I'm definitely going to be doing more of these too. I shall speak to you soon.